Hey everybody, I'm your host Kai, and it's time for another jumping into the Reddit Am I the Asshole? So I'm gonna read these and we're gonna decide if they're the asshole or not, and I'm gonna, get my drink ready while we read these. So let's jump into that. So the first one is, am I the asshole for walking out on my own birthday dinner after my friend announced her engagement? I mean, right now I'm gonna, without reading it, assume no. In fact, she should have left your birthday, not you. But anyways, let's read the story. So I, 19 female, had a birthday dinner last weekend. Nothing huge, just me, my parents, a few close friends at one of my favorite restaurants. It was really chilly, we were having a great time, and everything was going fine until it wasn't. In the middle of dinner, my friend Ashley, 20 female, stands up and starts clinking her glass. I thought she was gonna say something nice about my birthday or whatever. Which, yeah, I could get why you were going to assume that. What else would she be announcing? Nope, she announces she's engaged, starts showing off the ring, and then her boyfriend shows up out of nowhere with flowers, and the whole thing turns into an engagement party at my birthday dinner. Everyone's clapping and freaking out, and suddenly I'm just background noise. My parents look confused, and my other friends were clearly weirded out, but Ashley was eating it up. After sitting there awkwardly for like 10 minutes, I got up and said I wasn't feeling well and left. My parents followed and paid for everything. Later that night, Ashley texted me saying I was rude and selfish and should be happy for her. She swears it wasn't planned, but come on. Dude showed up with flowers like it was choreographed. Yeah, and planned. Now, a couple mutual friends are saying I was dramatic and birthdays happen every year, but I feel like announcing your engagement at someone else's dinner is kind of wild. Anyways, am I the asshole? No, you are not the asshole. She's the asshole. It'd be like announcing your engagement at somebody else's wedding. It's just unacceptable. It's not right. You just don't do that. But let's see what some of the people say. Because I honestly think you're not the asshole. I think she's the asshole. I mean, it's your birthday. Somebody's like, not the asshole. You did the correct thing by leaving. And honestly, I don't think you should have had to leave. I think she should have had to leave. Like, what kind of person announces, hey, I'm getting married at somebody else's party? You know, it's your party. She should have left, not you. Someone else is like, not the asshole. Some people just can't stand being the center of attention. It was your dinner with your loved ones, and she decided to make it all about her. Does she do this sort of thing often? If so, it might be time to leave her and her main character energy in the past. And that is true. If she does this on, like, a regular basis, maybe it's time for you to find another friend, because it just seems like if she, like, does this constantly, then yeah, it just doesn't seem like a good friendship. But you shouldn't have had to leave your birthday party. She should have had to leave. That's my honest opinion. But, people tell me in the comment section of whether or not you think this person was the asshole. Am I the asshole for trying to get our mistakenly uncharged electric bills billed before my new roommate moves in, so there are no retroactive bills since the old roomie moves out? No. The electricity account is in my roommate's name, and we haven't received any bills all year. Usually we receive no bill, and the last one actually displayed $0. Electricity works. She definitely called the electricity account once to sort. They said they would, and they never did. I've asked for her account number multiple times to look into this myself, and she refuses to send it to me. I believe because she said her details or bank details are on there, but not sure. And I could see that that's legit, like, that's her bank account information. Anyways, I tried to call electricity company, but they needed our account number for the call to continue. Which, yeah, that makes sense. Basically, I will be taking over the lease next year with the new roommate and told her my concern is being retroactively billed for this past year once I open the new electricity account. And that's a legitimate concern. I could see why you're worried about that, because you're like, you want a new electricity bill and be only charged for electricity that you and your new roommate are using. So I get that. She told me she contacted them many times before. I actually doubt this. I think she only did once properly and has since messaged me the other day. If they bill us while I'm a tenant, I'll pay. Otherwise, you'll open a new account once I move out and just tell them the previous tenant who they never billed has moved out. But we were both tenants there, although my name is not on the account. Okay, you doubting it? I mean, she actually might be your old roommate or your about to be ex-roommate probably is telling the truth. Electricity company or companies in general, when it comes to billing you, are very slow on, actually doing what you ask them to do. So she could be telling the truth. I know you doubt that she, actually did, but I mean, from experience, I mean, it is possible that they just are taking their time or supposedly for God. They're infamous for doing these kind of things. Their customer service is lacking. Okay, she's made it clear that once she moves out, she doesn't want to be responsible for anything if they ever retroactively bill us, which is in 2 months. And I wanted to tell the new roommate what our electricity bills would be, but I have no clue. My roommate thinks it's their fault for not charging us, and she told them at least once before, so doesn't want to keep chasing. She's probably annoyed I am. I don't want a retroactive bill for when she moves out, and I open a new account, which ChatGPT says is possible, or maybe nothing will happen. I don't think you should trust an AI. Like, just because the AI says, it's possible. What does the AI know? I mean, if you look at ChatGPT, if I remember right, it says that it may not be completely accurate, and you should still research to make sure what it tells you is accurate. So, I mean, maybe going to ChatGPT for advice or any AI for advice is not the smartest thing to do. Okay, so anyways, I also technically hold her deposit, so worth putting out there since she doesn't seem keen to pay any bills once she moves out if the electricity company clocks it by then. But it would feel mean for me to withhold hers, and likely the new roommate would already have needed to pay it to her than to move in. I don't know. Am I the asshole? I just want our apartment lease in the clear and don't mind paying a bill, but she clearly doesn't want to if she can avoid it, obviously. I'd prefer if this was cleared, or if I would try to contact them myself, but she's going to give me the account numbers. Oh, she's never going to give me the account number, so either I will have to withhold a deposit somehow if they bill us, or to get her to agree to pay any retroactive bill. But she doesn't want to. She'll again say, tell them I moved out. So I'm a bit of a loss here. I try to help contact the electricity company, but last time I tried, I couldn't without an account number. I mean, you're not the asshole, but to me, in my honest opinion, neither is she. I mean, I completely get why she doesn't want to give you the number, and I mean, though telling them that she moved out would perfectly work, I'm pretty sure. I mean, I'm not an expert on this, and you should probably ask somebody else that is the expert. But I would say just wait and just go to electricity company, use the address, and put it in your name after that roommate's gone. But let's see what some of the people in the comment section say. This person says she will have to get the electricity taken out of her name so that you can put it in yours. If there's any past due, they will go after her. There's a chance that you have to pay a deposit to the electric company. And that seems legit. Like, probably anything that was in her name before, she'll have to pay, but anything after that, you'll have to pay, and you most likely will have to pay a deposit. So that person is correct as far as I know. I'm not an expert. Another person says, her name is on the account. If they chase anyone for money, it'll be her. So you just notify an electricity company that you're moving in. We have choice here. So, and I'd pick a different supplier, but you may not, depend on where you live. And put yourself and your new flatmates on the bill. Then you keep aside what you think your share of the bill might be in case your friend later asks for contribution. So if you chase on her account, you'd be overstepping and you'd get nowhere because of data protection. So I just suggest you let it go. At the moment, not the asshole. But if you keep, arguing with her about a bill in her name that might not happen, you would be the asshole. P.S. Some accounts do get entirely lost in the system, particularly where there are multiple competing suppliers. I live in the UK. I've twice had periods where I have paid nothing because of errors and never had to pay anything. Once for a year, once for 6 years. There's only so much you can do to chase, and I don't feel any great guilt about this massive profit leeching company is losing a bit of cash, as it is their job to keep proper accounts and bill people. That is true. It's their job. If they don't bill you or your ex-roommate or your new roommate, that's on them, not you. They're the ones that made the mistake. And who gives a crap if some big huge corporation loses a bit of money? That's on them for not being diligent with who they're supposed to be billing. Another person says, not the asshole, but it's her account in her name. So how to handle it technically is her call. I'm sure rules vary depending on your locality, but generally speaking, once it switches into your name, that's your starting point. You're responsible for usage and billing from that day forward. Research your local laws. Assuming you're in the United States, reach out to your state's Public Utilities Commission. They set the rules by which electricity company must play by. Explain the situation. They'll have advice that is factually correct based on your exact scenario. Yeah, contact them. Do not go to ChatGPT or any other freaking AI for your information. AIs only go based off the information they're programmed with. And for example, Twitter's
AI Grok is like, for instance, I don't know much about ChatGPT, but Grok, Twitter's AI, and I refuse to call it X. I don't care what that evil a-hole Elon Musk has to say. It's still Twitter. But anyways, the point is Grok on Twitter is full of misinformation because it's depending on who the programmer is, depends on whether it gives the factual information. So yeah, go to that state's Public Utilities Commission and ask them. They'll have the advice that is factually correct based on your exact scenario. And then the person continues. Finally, if the roommate insists on rolling the dice on free electricity, have her put in writing that as move out of date, you are paid in full for all split costs, including but not limited to electricity. That way, if she does have a bill down the line, you can refer back to the agreement. Another person says, just ask her to turn off the service effective X date. As soon as she does that, you can have a call to turn on your name the same date. Anything they back charge will be in her name. You and your old roomie can deal with it. And yeah, just have her turn it off. But you're like, you know what? When you move out, turn it off, and then you and your new roomie can put it into your name. I think that's the best advice. Please, though, for the love of cheese, do not ask an AI for advice on anything. Am I the asshole for not inviting my family to my house? No, you're not. It's like your house. So you're like allowed to invite anyone you want to the home that is your house. But let's go ahead and read the story. That's just what I have to say right away, just from the headline alone. But let's read what the thing actually says. I, 36 female, have lived alone for the last 10 years. I love living alone, and my independence and privacy are very important to me. In case this is relevant, last year I was diagnosed with autism. When I first moved into my house, my parents would visit maybe a couple times a month just for drinks and catch up, and maybe to watch some TV one evening after work. This has always made me painfully anxious, and I would spend a long time cleaning and tidying and worrying about them coming. When they did, my mom would always comment disparagingly on my cleanliness and tidiness and would peer into my closed drawers and cupboards and rooms. I felt this as an intense violation, would ask her not to do it, but she would always either deny it or insist she was doing nothing wrong. She was doing something wrong. And like, whether you're autistic or not, the fact that they were going through your stuff and then she was commenting on the way you take care of your house was just wrong. And I could already see why you don't want to invite them to your house. That is your personal space, and they're violating your personal space, and they're going through your stuff. That is like a violation of privacy. Damn. And you're grown as adults. It's none of their business what's in your house. My mom is quite a volatile and emotional person, and her visits would often end in arguments or getting upset. My home is my safe, peaceful place, and I felt that disturbed it. It did! Like, she's totally violating your space and going through your stuff. You're a grown adult. She has no right to do that. Then COVID lockdown came and visits weren't allowed, and I felt much more comfortable in my home. After lockdown ended, I continued to enforce the rule on the basis that I like privacy and my home is my sanctuary. And honestly, the fact that she was going through your stuff, when you're a grown adult and she was going through your things, that's a total violation of your privacy, and you have the right to that. You're no longer a child. You were an adult, and she had no right going through that. And then she was commenting on how you take care of your home. It's like, I'm sorry, woman, that's none of your business how I take care of my home. My mom is furious about this and brings it up every few weeks. Too bad. I still visit my parents fairly regularly in the gatherings of the wider family, that I do really value spending time with them. But last time I went round, she started talking about it being time they visited me instead, and I said I'd rather they didn't do that, as I prefer to visit them. She said it's not fair that I go to their house but can't come to mine. I said that I like to keep my home as my private space, but she said that didn't make any sense, and that I'm being cruel and keeping her out. And if she can't come to my house, then I can't come to hers. I told her that would make me sad, but I didn't give in to emotional manipulation. And if I'm not welcome at her house, then I won't visit her anymore. Then she started crying, saying how upset she is, of how I don't want to spend time with my family, see my niece and nephew grow up, etc., etc. And now she's threatening to drop by unannounced. I know a lot of people who wouldn't care about this and are happy to have people visit them in the home, but it is a great source of anxiety. And I don't understand why it's a price I have to pay to have a relationship with my family. Am I the asshole? No, you are not the asshole. She went through your stuff and she comments on how you keep your home. You are not the asshole. In fact, she is the asshole. And let's see what the comment section has to say. This person says, not the asshole. Have you ever tried having a conversation with her about why you feel like this? I feel like she may not understand how it emotionally affects you when she comes around. No. Okay, I get that, but like the thing is she's going through this personal stuff. The mom is. The mom is going through her personal stuff, so it doesn't matter. And you shouldn't have to have a conversation. It should just be like, you're violating my privacy and going through my shit. You're not welcome. Like, simple as that. I think your mom is overreacting. As you said in the post, you still visit and spend time with your family. Yeah. I think maybe having a genuine conversation with her about why would help the situation. If it doesn't, at least you know where you stand. That is true. Another person says, not the asshole. I know it's quite typical for family members to meet at each other's houses, but the real issue here is not who goes to whose home. It's that your mom doesn't respect your space or your boundaries. I'm guessing if it wasn't stressful to have her in your space, she'd be invited from time to time. I think also if the person didn't go, the mom didn't go through her shit or their shit. I don't know if this person that wrote this is male or female, but I'm pretty sure like if the mom didn't go through their personal stuff and like violate their privacy, it wouldn't be an issue either. Your mom is the one creating a dependency between your space and your relationships. You are not. You willing to go to them, you make sure you see extended family. This is not a you problem. Yeah, this is her problem. Another person's like, I do not like people in my home. I grew up in a real volatile household, and I love that my house is peaceful. The only people who get upset about you is setting up boundaries is the people who needed the boundaries. I wish I had learned these things at your age. Congratulations on setting yourself first and recognizing what makes you happy. Yup. Right there. You set your boundaries. If they can't respect your boundaries, then so be it. If they're like, well, you can't come to my house and you won't be able to spend time with me, oh well. Like, it sucks, but, like, you should not have to give up your sense of peace and comfortability to accommodate her in your house. It's your house. She's the one that needs to accommodate and compromise. And that's my final judgment. Am I the asshole? Fault, then isolated. Okay, so I live in a hostel. So one of my friends fought with me over something petty. I accidentally spilled cake on her bedsheet the night before, and the next day she came down to my room and started fighting me over it. Why'd she wait until the next day to fight you on it? Like, I get that it got on her bedsheet and she was upset about it, right? But why did she wait until the next day after it was over with? She should have, like, addressed the issue that day that it happened, not the next day. Which I tried to stop the fighting by apologizing twice. She wouldn't listen until I fought back, and when I did, she left. Then all my other friends called me to the original friend's room, the one I had a fight with, and they all started talking about how I had to have attitude problems. I got frustrated and got up and left, but they wouldn't leave me alone and grabbed me by my elbow, starting saying one, you do this, two, you do that, to which I said a bit loudly, stop talking to me, and I left and came to my room and started crying, etc. Very dramatic, I know, but bear with me. Next, one of them comes to my room and says that we wanted to do this and that. We have this problem, that problem. I said you all together and speaking against me, so I got frustrated. I mean, you did. They're all ganging up on you and whatnot, and the friend was the one being petty, and like your friend waited into the next day to make an issue of it, and then you left and you didn't want to deal with it anymore, and then they would quit. They would keep harping. Mind you, this had happened once before, and I just stayed quiet and didn't say anything and just listened to them. Then I told the one who came to my room that we should just all stay in our rooms and study as we had an exam the day after. Then they all were just ignoring me, and I was ignoring them, and the situation was tense. The next morning, I woke up, and the girl I had fought with came to my room, and we both apologized, amicably resolved stuff right now. The rest of the two girls, whom I didn't even had any direct fight with, my relation with them is very tense. One of them and the girl that I originally had a fight with came to my room and only talked and acknowledged my roommate, but there's another twist. I decided to go to a steakhouse with one of my other friends in the hostel, and she invited the rest of them, the girl I had a fight with and the other girls. So now I don't know whether I should go or not. Even if I don't go, what excuse will I give, and will I go that day? Because I really want to go somewhere. These people are my only friends I have in the city, but they're all against me, and suddenly I feel suffocated and tense all the time. And I'm more or less isolated. My roommate talks to me here and there, but I've been more or less quiet of the 2 days. I have another friend here, but she's always studying. She's busy on the day I wanted to go to the steakhouse, so I don't know what to do anymore. I don't think you're the asshole, and I think the fact that they waited until later makes them the asshole. And the fact that you apologized, I think, should be good enough. But that's just my opinion. Let's see what the comments say. One person's like, I'm sorry you feel like that. It sounds stressful. I can't see that accidentally getting cake on someone's bed is a justification for, such drama. I agree. Like, I don't see how that created such drama. You got cake on their thing. I mean, with friends like that, who needs enemies? Am I right? It'd be helpful to know more about your living situation. You all sound young and like you are students, so hopefully this will pass and you'll find people you like better to live in the future. But you've not done anything wrong, and they're basically quite domineering. So not the asshole. But I'd go to the steakhouse and not let other friends that being there force you out of your social connections, as that would even feel more isolating and stressful. And I agree, you're not the asshole. They're the asshole. They brought it up the next day. They seem domineering and controlling. And I really don't need to see any other comments, because I'm pretty sure they all say, you're not the asshole. I mean, why did the person wait until, like, the next day to bring up something as petty as cake on my sheets? There's cake on my sheets. Get over yourself and grow up. Not you. The person that was complaining about the cake on the sheets. They need to grow the fuck up. Am I the asshole for not waiting for my girlfriend? So a few months ago, my girlfriend, 24 female, asked me, 24 male, to accompany to her exam center and wait around until she's done with it. The exam was for an hour, but I refused, saying I don't want to wait. Fast forward 3 months, I had some presentation for 1.5 hours and asked her to accompany me, which she did wait. I only invited for her to wait because we thought we'd hang out after the presentation and mall nearby, but couldn't do the heavy waits. Now the issue is she recently brought this up, telling me how she was willing to do something for me, which I wasn't. I argued that if she didn't have to want to wait, she didn't have to. She should voice her opinion and tell me she's not comfortable waiting. She says that she did something for the person she loves and expects me to reciprocate the same. Am I the asshole for not waiting? Yes, you are the asshole for not waiting. Like, she was willing to do the same thing for you, but you weren't willing to do the same thing for her. You're basically a hypocrite. Like, I'm sorry. Like, you could have waited for her and you didn't, and then she did the same thing for you. So she has every right to be upset with you about the whole situation. Let's see what some of the people have to say. So one person goes, Soft, you're the asshole here. I got not wanting to wait and sit around for an hour. That is kind of boring. But now you're expecting her to do the exact thing you refused to do for her. And she didn't even have the mall hangout as a backup plan like you did. The bigger issue isn't the waiting, it's the double standard. She's not wrong for wanting you to reciprocate effort. Yeah, she could have said no to waiting for you, but she didn't because she wanted to support you. Now she's realizing you wouldn't do the same, and that stings. Next time, either commit to mutual support or don't ask her for favors you wouldn't return. Fair's fair. Another person says, you're the asshole. You think you're worthy of your girlfriend's time, but you do not think your girlfriend's worthy of your time. Then another person goes, yeah, the asshole. He's being selfish and not supporting her. Does he even like her? Yeah, I mean, you wanted her to wait for you, but you weren't willing to do the same. So yeah, you are definitely the asshole. Like, just wait, dude. Like, so what, you're bored. Get over it and grow the fuck up. If you're not willing to compromise and you're not willing to work out and do the same for her, then maybe you shouldn't be in a relationship. You're a fucking dick. Would I be the asshole for asking my friend to pay for the dry cleaning bill of something they stained over a year ago? Yeah, it was like a year ago. And you're only now going to charge them for something? I mean, are you really sure that it was them? I mean, it was over a year ago. So let's read what it says. Today, I was going through my closet when I pulled a rather unique shawl. I hardly ever wear, but love dearly. That's when I noticed 2 massive stains on the fabric. I have not worn it over in 2 years. I vaguely remembered my friend asking to borrow it for a costume 2 Halloweens ago. I looked back in their photos and found photos of them wearing it to a costume party. No signs of staining yet, but there were blurry pics. For context, this shawl lives on a clothing rack in my closet and doesn't move, and has not left this position since my friend took it to the party. Would I be the asshole if I asked them to pay for the dry cleaning bill? I understand it could have been an accident, but they know how protective I am over my clothes. Yeah, you would be the asshole. Like, it's from, like, a year ago, and you're not even sure if they are the ones that dirtied it up. Like, you said it was 2 Halloweens ago. So, like, you said for, like, 2 years. Are you sure they even did? And how protective of that are you of it when it has not moved from that area in 2 freaking years? So yeah, you would definitely be the asshole. You're asking them to pay for something that you don't even know if they did, and it was like 2 Halloweens ago. But let's see what some of the people say. One person says, "You're the asshole. You don't even know for the fact that the friend even got the stain on it. You're just assuming." Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, you're just assuming that they stained it. You don't even remember how the stain got there. And they're like, plus it was over a year ago, which I said that as well. You're super protective over your clothing, yet you haven't worn it in years, and you didn't even notice the stain when you got it back. Or maybe the stain wasn't there. Exactly. Like, you didn't even notice when you got it, all those years back. And like this one person said, how do you not notice 2 massive stains when the friend returned it? Does anyone else have access to your closet? Someone may have borrowed it without permission. You're the asshole. You don't actually know who stained it or when. Yeah, and you're like, oh, I'm protective of my clothing. Well, obviously not that protective. As this one person says, so protective you let them be used as part of a costume and don't notice stains for more than a year. And then another person's like, you would be the asshole. Obviously cheeky of your friend to hand back the shawl stain, assuming they knew about the stains, but this will make you look bafflingly petty for the sake of fairly modest sum of money. It's not worth it. Yeah, it's like 2 years ago. You're not even sure if this friend stained it. And you only noticing it now? Yeah, sure you are. You're protective of your clothing, but you didn't even notice the stain until now. Please. Yeah, you're the asshole. I'm sorry. Am I the asshole for not helping my husband? After dinner, I was washing off my toddler's tray in the sink. It's very large and cumbersome, and my husband decided to pick our toddler up from his high chair. My husband suddenly frantically said, "Help, help, take the bib," and I turned to see him with the bib in one hand and our toddler in the other. He was standing about a feet away from our table, and as I had this huge soapy tray in my hands, I said, "Just put the bib down on the table." Seemed logical. But my husband had been drinking whiskey, half a 750 milliliter to be exact, and also had control issues. He got very upset, claiming I wouldn't help him when he needed help. He fought me for the next hour until I escaped by putting our son to bed. Trying to resolve things the next day when alcohol wasn't a factor, I brought it up to get clarity. He's extremely irate, claiming that it's a bigger picture issue, that I wouldn't help him, even though he admitted he could have easily put the bib down without rushing over to grab it. Without me rushing over to grab it. He's saying if I chose not to help in that moment because of my opinion and emotions, assessing it was a dire situation, used logic to have him help himself, then who knows if I'll help when he needs help ever. He's demanding I take accountability and see his perspective. Clearly we won't see eye to eye, but I try to provide resolution by taking accountability for making him feel he couldn't rely on me for help. Firstly, this doesn't need to be a huge fight and last for days, creating an uncomfortable environment in the home. This is something for me that is a non-issue. We should move on. If it were a different situation, I would have dropped what I was doing to help, as I have countless times in our many years together, even when it's a bit silly. He's onto his anger over it, and it's basically the end of the world. Knowing, yes, I'd certainly help if it weren't such a non-issue, am I the asshole that here? Was I in the wrong in the moment or in the wrong now for seeing this is not a big deal? It's not a big deal. Like, that's on him that he couldn't do something simple because he was drunk. Like, that's not your problem. And, like, he could have just easily put the bib down without you rushing over to help him. So, no, you're not the asshole. He's the asshole by making a big deal over something that wasn't even that big or important. But let's see what the people have to say. One person says, not the asshole. But I think you're rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic here. Isn't the real issue whether he should be caring for and picking up a toddler after consuming whiskey? I know, right? Like, the issue's not the other thing he was making issue. He's like trying to pick up your child and he's drunk. And someone else is like, yeah, I don't really give a flying fuck what is happening here. That's not okay. And OP said it so casually, like, OP, why are you even allowing him to pick up the child when he's been drinking? Someone's like, I agree. He's not the drunk baker who survived the Titanic. No one should be taking care of a child while they're intoxicated, and OP should have known better. Honestly, I'm saying OP the asshole because her husband should have not been taking care of the toddler that inebriated. Oh my god, yes. And then somebody's like, I'm sorry, OP is the asshole because her husband got too drunk, How about the husband is the asshole for getting that drunk? It sounds like the child was safe and secure in their high chair while the OP cleaned up dinner, and the husband went out of his way to get drunk and then mess with the child. OP is only the asshole to herself because the way the story is written, it sounds like the husband getting drunk and acting stupidly is pretty common, and OP has just resigned her fate to deal with him like this. Yeah, what that person says, like right there. The husband's the asshole for getting drunk and then trying to pick up the fucking child. Like, dude, maybe, I don't know, stay sober while you're taking care of your child. Fucking Christ. Am I the asshole for telling my friend that I don't want him to bring his intellectually disabled friend to a party? Yeah. Like, I don't really need to read the rest of it. Yeah, you are the asshole. Like, it's like, hey, dude, don't bring your intellectually disabled friend to a party because I'm an ableist. I'm a complete ableist piece of shit. And I want to judge people because they're not, intellectually capable as me. You are totally the asshole. Am I the asshole for telling my girlfriend that her mom shouldn't have a say in where she lives? Alright. Throw away because I don't want my sucker mother-in-law to find it. We are not married, but I say mother-in-law because I'm sure I'll marry this girl. I, 20 male, told my girlfriend, 19 female, that her mom shouldn't be butting in her life decisions anymore. For context, my girlfriend has always been under her parents' thumb because, like any good child, she follows what they say. Now, this is understandable when she was living under the roof and eating the food they provided. But however, in college, she got a scholarship because my future wife is not just a fine-ass woman, but also very academically gifted. She barely studied for this scholarship. The scholarship took care of my wife's rent. However, she got to save because first year college are prioritized and guaranteed to get cheap housing. Now, mind you, this housing might be cheap, but holy shit, is uncomfortable and dirty. People steal your food, roommates fucked out loud, and are generally just horrible people. Now, she's a second year student, and she is no longer prioritized, and most likely will not be able to be available this cheap housing. This is where I start to think her mom is a giant bitch. She insists that her daughter remain in the filthy house simply because it is cheaper. Yeah, I agree with you at that part that the mom is being a giant bitch. Saying, oh yeah, honey, I want you to remain in that place because it's cheaper. I don't want you finding a place that's more comfortable for you. Here I am confused as ever because, first of all, why does she want her daughter to remain in a place that makes her miserable just because it's cheap? Exactly. And second, she doesn't pay for anything in my girlfriend's life. Okay? In fact, she barely did. Her mom is the one that asks for money from her child in order to support her siblings, and of course my girlfriend gives it because it's her siblings. In my bias, according to my girl opinion, her mom shouldn't control her goddamn decisions anymore. I agree. Bottom line is, my girlfriend is self-sufficient and has always been like that for years, especially now that she has her own money and is of legal age. She is a responsible young adult. However, my girlfriend, sweet as ever, for fear of upsetting mom, is considering begging for a spot in the dirty old housing despite the uncertainty that she'd ever get a spot. Am I the asshole for telling her mom to fuck off and stop depending on her daughter for money? No, you're not. Like, she does. Like, that's your daughter. You don't ask her for money. Your child's supposed to depend on you when they're in financial dire situations, not the other way around. You're the parent. So no, you're not the asshole at all, dude. Like, at all. Like, and the mom like, oh yeah, just stay in that dirty place because it's cheaper, and then that way I can just sponge off you and continue to take all your fucking money. Would I be the asshole for asking to go to my cousin's wedding? So my cousin, who's turning 20 next week, just recently proposed to his girlfriend. Me and my cousin get along pretty well, and we don't have any issues with one another. I don't know when the wedding will be, but I'm guessing he and his now fiance will be getting married in the next 6 months to a year. I would like to think I'm invited since my mom and his aunt would want me to. Side note, my mom passed away, and now his grandma and grandpa, my aunt and uncle, are my parents since 2016. If the wedding was to come about, depending on location, since it's currently in Texas and we are in Indiana. I don't think I would have the funds to go. I want to ask my parents if they'd be willing to help out when the time comes so would be able to attend. Would I be the asshole in this situation? I mean, it depends on how you go about it. I don't really think you're the, asshole. I mean, you don't have the funds to go. And, I mean, asking them if, they'd be willing to help out when the time comes, no. I don't think you would. Honestly, I think you should just wait until your cousin actually asks you to come to the wedding. But, no, I don't really see any asshole in this situation. Am I the asshole for telling my girlfriend's friends that one of them is a terrible person? Last night, my girlfriend gave a small party for her birthday, and she organized a cool workshop for her friend group, and I got home a bit late. So they arrived when I was showering, and I got down when they already started the workshop. Something about painting. All the girls had fun, but there was this one girl who constantly made mean and annoying comments to the others. How they're uninspiring, not as perfect as hers, and to my surprise, they all just took it. She was happy with herself. She chose the music at my girlfriend's party while clearly no one liked it. Then I decided to step in. I put my girlfriend's playlist on. She started commenting about how bad the music was, and she quickly put on her songs when I was having a conversation. Then when she left, I sighed, and one of the girls noticed. She asked why, and I answered that I was glad that she was gone and that I couldn't stand her anymore. She was so full of herself. Now my girlfriend says that I shouldn't have said that because that's terrible. I'm just being honest about some annoying person that I called a parasite when people asked about it. Am I the asshole? No, that person was like insulting all the other girls and saying how she was better than them. So no, you weren't the asshole. But let's see what the other people have to say. This one person says, definitely could have handled that discreetly. Asking her girlfriend after her friends have left, mean friend was really mean the whole night. Is she always like that? Would show your girlfriend you're invested in her life and allow her to give her some insight into the group's dynamic. Someone's like, you could have just talked to your girlfriend, but calling that person a parasite was harsh. No, it wasn't. It wasn't harsh. Gentle, you're the asshole. This is something you should have talked to your girlfriend privately about it. You don't know the group's dynamics or the reason they tolerate the behavior. You know what? I don't really fucking care why they tolerate the behavior. That person was horrible, and they shouldn't be friends with her if all she's ever going to do is put them down. So, like, no, that person wasn't the asshole. Someone goes, you lose the high ground when you call someone a parasite. No, you don't. Like, that person was horrible to them. They shouldn't be friends with that person. I can't believe some of these people are literally defending this horrible, despicable fucking person. Oh my god, I don't understand some of these people on Reddit. Am I the asshole for telling my friend I won't drive her to work anymore after she kept making us late? I, 25 female, have been giving my friend Lena, 27 female, a ride to work for the past 3 months. We live a few blocks apart, work at the same place, different departments, and start at the same time, so it made sense at first. At the beginning, everything was fine, but over the past months, she started running late, like really late. I text her when I leave my house, and sometimes I end up sitting outside for 10 to 15 minutes waiting. A few times she's even asked me to swing by a coffee shop or drop her off at a different entrance, which adds time. We've been both getting written up for being late twice now. I finally told her this week I can't keep driving her if she's not ready on time. I said I like her and I don't want to fall out over something small, but I need to look out for myself and my job. She got really quiet and said she didn't think it was that big of a deal. It is the big of a deal. You got written up for it. And that I was being kind of cold over something that was supposed to be a favor. Now she's been barely talking to me at work, and a mutual friend told me she feels ditched. Deal with it. I didn't mean to hurt her, but I feel like I was doing her a favor and she started treating it like a service. I'm not her Uber driver, so am I the asshole for cutting her off the ride after she kept making me late? No, she kept making you late, and you were doing her a favor. And if she can't respect the favor at all, and respect what you were doing for her, and then making you late, and then it just seems like it kept on getting more and more and longer that you were having to wait, then so be it. She can find another way to work. You're not the asshole. She's the asshole.
So there you go. That's been the Reddit Am I the Asshole? Tell me in the comment section if you thought any of these people were the asshole. I'd love to hear your feedback on whether or not you think these people are the asshole. So comment down in the comment section down below. And for next month, instead of Am I the Asshole, we'll be reacting to the Reddit Am I Overreacting? And then, of course, we're going to go back to Am I the Asshole because I really enjoy that. So anyways, let us know in the comment section if you'd like to see more of this content of Am I the Asshole. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and that notification bell to be notified of future Am I the Asshole videos or Am I Overreacting videos as well. Or if you're into the LGBTQ content that we also have on this YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button and that notification bell to be notified of that content. Or if you like the convenience store clerk or retail stories, you can watch it for that. So anyways, thank you for watching. I've been your host Kai. Until next time. Peace out.
I would like to begin with a poem in old-fashioned meter. Be good to us, and we'll be good to you. Be good to